All righty then. Yo, what is going on? KG True Player. H-Man, what's up? What is going on? What is up? Hope your guys are all having a fantastic day. What is up? Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Happy Thursday, guys. Got a packed show. Got a lot to talk about, obviously. Phil, what's going on? Chadwell Inney says, Chadwell, NSC Football 2, what's going on? I do want to show off. Let's let people file in. I want to show off the sign really quick. Something that came to my mind. Something that came to my mind while I was recording the show actually yesterday for today, the podcast for today. Might put it on a T-shirt. I'll be totally honest. I think that'd be an awesome design. So I think that would be an awesome design. But guys, hope you're all doing well. Happy Thursday again. If you have not done so, check out the podcast. Dropped this morning. Episode 321. Really good one. Really good conversation. Aldrich Fordham joined me on the show. And of course, breaking down everything with the Mizzou game. We're talking keys to the game, key matchups, breaking down Mizzou as a whole. Obviously, a lot. We got into a lot here on the Thursday show, episode 321. So again, if you have not done so, check that out. That dropped this morning. Also, once again, want to thank you guys. 1,000 subs on YouTube. Really awesome stuff, guys. So thank you so much. Taking your questions, comments, calls as well. 843-790-3377. I'll open up the phone lines. 843-790-3377 as the coaching search rages on, right? Names are flying around. Shane Beamer's name, Billy Napier's name. I feel like Shane Beamer's name is picking up a lot of steam over the last couple of days, really over the last 24, 48 hours. Lots of steam for Shane Beamer. I know some of you may not be a huge fan of that, but that's kind of what I'm hearing right now. So we can definitely talk about that. Everything else with the game this Saturday, whatever you guys want to talk about, we are good to go. So you guys do want to call in, you can leave your questions here, and I will put the number in the chat as well. Yep. So if you guys do want to call in 843-790-3377, let's start taking some questions here. I know a lot of questions are going to be around Shane Beamer. Hearing Beamer's the front runner. Yeah, I've actually heard that as well. I know Beamer for sure is getting a large vote of confidence from alums, from former staff. I've heard even the HBC, Steve Spurrier, has given Shane Beamer the vote of confidence. So obviously when you have that kind of momentum behind you, there's a good chance you're going to get the job. So, yes, it is chilly. That is why I'm wearing a hoodie. Yo, what's up, man? How you doing?
What's up, Chris? How you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. I'm feeling good, man. It's been a crazy week, but you know what? It's a blessing. So I'm excited for Saturday. That's for sure.
It's game week, man. It's game week, and first time in a long time. Hopefully, all South Carolina fans are excited about game week. First time in a long time.
Yeah.
Long time since what? Last year against North Carolina.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, it's a way different vibe for sure. Yeah, it's a different vibe for sure, man. No question.
I just think that. Whoever comes in, if it's Billy Napier, offense coordinator for Alabama, whoever it is, I really hope they can recruit. Give all the praise and glory to Will Muschamp. He recruited Jordan Birch and Marshawn Lloyd, and good people. But we just need we just really need top 10 guys, top 20 guys in the class that will come in and play like a 5-star, not be a 5-star and only play like a 2-star or barely sees the field. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Oh yeah. No, you got to get a guy that can not only recruit but develop. That's the biggest thing because, I would say that the recruiting under Muschamp was probably a little better than it was when Spurrier was there, but the players just haven't been developed. So yeah, you got to have both. You can't have one or the other. It can't just be you get a bunch of really, really good recruits, but then you can't develop them. And also you got to be able to recruit talent. You don't want to bring in, classes with, and whatever. I mean, these guys can still pan out, be great players, but just for the sake of the argument, you don't want to bring in a class with a bunch of 1 and 2 stars and you're trying to develop those guys that maybe they're ceiling, they just don't have it. So you got to have a mixture of both. You take a look at South Carolina. I mean, some of the best players in school history were not the highest ranked guys in the world in the recruiting trail, 3-star guys. So you got to have a guy that has a good mixture of both. You got to be able to recruit and develop players. And I think that was one of the biggest knocks of the Muschamp tenure was South Carolina obviously got a bunch of talent on campus, but for whatever reason, you didn't feel like you were getting the most out of the talent that was there. I agree. That's definitely something that the next head coach needs to be able to do. And whether it's him, his staff as well, they've got to be able to do that. Because, again, at South Carolina, at least right now, you're not going to recruit at a top 5 or top 10 clip every single year. You're just not going to do it right now. So, but you're getting good enough talent to win. I think we all agree. But you need to take that class, that 15th to 20th ranked class, and make it play like the 10th best class or the 5th best class. That's something Steve Spurrier was just so good. His staff, they were so able to do was to take those players and get the absolute most out of them. So, yeah, I mean, definitely. That definitely needs to be a point of emphasis. And I think most of the candidates, honestly, that are on the short list that I assume South Carolina's talking to, I think most of them have proven they can do that. So, somebody joked with me that it felt like with Muschamp, the guys you got on campus, they played a star worse than their ranking. And it was the opposite under Spurrier. We had 3 stars playing like 4 stars and 4 stars playing like 5 stars and guys just balling out. Didn't matter what their star rating was. So, yeah, you definitely got to get back to that. And like I said, I think the good news is that everybody I've seen as far as the short list of names that are seriously being thrown around, I think those guys kind of all exemplify that. But we're going to jump out to the phone lines, man. I appreciate the call.
All right, no problem.
Yeah, appreciate it. All right, we got another call here. Trying to get everybody in here. Yo, what's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, Chris, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Appreciate the call.
Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, man. I was just thinking, man, like just like going back to like, what I'm saying, just looking at all the teams we got to face and all the in-state rivals and stuff. And I feel like with Billy Napier, I feel like one, he got this little grudge against Dabo. You know what I'm saying? Got a little grudge against Dabo. And then 2, I think he just looked like the man for the job. I'm not, us fans, we all get caught up in, the people history and all the other stuff, but none of that stuff really matters. You know what I mean? We just need a coach who's gonna want to come to Carolina, who want to own Carolina, and who got this killer instinct. You know what I mean? Who understands the fans' frustration and etc. And then the next coach have to understand that we have to get through Georgia and we got to get through Clemson, regardless. It don't have to be the first 2 years, but the next 3-4 years, we gotta take advantage of those teams, man.
Yeah, I think the next head coach, whether he wants to or not, is going to understand the challenge that it is to, win at South Carolina with your 2 closest rivals, your 2 neighbors having the success they are. But so you talk about Napier, and you left the voicemail for the podcast, right? I'm pretty sure I aired that for today's show.
Right.
I remember that. Yeah. So I appreciate that. But no, so I hear you about Napier. I'd like the hire of Napier for sure. I will say this, when you talk about somebody that understands South Carolina and the fan base, and that's kind of why I know some people don't like it, but that's why I'm warming up to the Beamer hire, because he is a guy that understands the culture of South Carolina. He's seen South Carolina football at its best. Heck, he recruited some of the best players in South Carolina history. So I do like that about Beamer. I think finding the culture fit in this hire is just as important, if not more important, than all of the other attributes you want the coach to have. So, again, I know that, I know a lot of people have been asking about the Beamer hire, so I'll just kind of address it now. I think it would be a huge risk, obviously, because, listen, Beamer has never been even like a big-time coordinator. I know he's done special teams, but he's worked in some great programs. He's the son of, a legendary head coach. He was at South Carolina. I mean, I'm not saying it wouldn't be a risk, but, heck, Billy Napier would be a risk too. I mean, but I also said that I think this is a great opportunity to roll the dice. You know what I mean? I think this is a great chance to roll the dice and take a chance on a young guy, a smaller guy, and just see what happens. So, I'm going to support, really. There's not many hires out there, I think, that, they could hire that I'm going to vocally be upset and not support the guy, obviously. But, whether it's and it feels like right now, if I had to put money on it, it's either going to be Beamer or Napier, which I would be fine with either hire. I really would. But talking about understanding the culture of South Carolina, I think both of those guys really do have that because, and for different reasons. Napier was at Clemson, obviously, and Beamer was here. So it'll be interesting, man. That's the crazy part about the coaching search. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors. We just hear rumors, and one day it's this guy, the next day it's this guy. You just never know. But it'll be interesting to see, man. I think finding the culture fit, like I said, it is really, really important. I agree with you. So.
Oh yeah, man. 100 for real. Like the culture for down here is just everything. I just don't. The only thing about Beamer, like you said, everything you stated about Beamer, is one thing I'm scared of. I think he's more of a risk than Bill Napier. Only.
Yeah, no, I think so for sure. He's a little bit more of a risk because he hasn't been a head coach anywhere. I mean, that's you're gonna let the guy's first head coaching job ever be in the SEC at South Carolina. So I mean, I will tell you this, which I'm not sure if I even said it on here yet. I'll tell you what I'm hearing as far as somebody that I talk to a lot. I don't want to call him a source, whatever. Guy I talk to a lot that has got the inside scoop on things. He's told me that, and it's kind of obvious if you look at social media, but Beamer is getting a lot of the votes of confidence from former players, from former staff, and I've even heard Steve Spurrier has given him that vote of confidence to be the next head coach. So, I mean, when you're getting that kind of support, you know what I mean? They're going to pay attention. When Steve Spurrier gives you the vote of confidence, they're going to pay attention to that. So,
right.
We'll see, like I said, we'll see what happens from it. But I'm hearing there's a lot of momentum right now for Beamer because of that. I mean, you see former players. Pat DeMarco gave him the vote of confidence. Patrick Fish, I know Torrey Gurley, who I've talked to, did. All those guys that played in that era, they seem to love the guy. So, I mean, which, again, doesn't mean he'd be a great hire. You know what I mean? It's whatever. Of course they love him. He was their recruiting coordinator or whatever, but they for whatever it's worth, they give him the vote of confidence. So, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds good, man. Like I said, I'm just hoping he come in with that killer instinct.
Yeah.
I mean,
the big thing for Beamer, will be hiring the right coordinators. That will be because Beamer, I think, will be a lot like Dabo in the sense where he will be in the CEO role. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's kind of what you're seeing in college football. As long as Beamer can hire the right coordinators, the right OC and the right DC and the right staff around him, I'll feel fine with it. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't think, which I mean, I guess he's never been a head coach, so we don't know, but I don't see Beamer being a guy stubborn as Will was, where he's not going to let his OC call the shots. He's not going to let his guys work for him. So yeah, I mean, he hiring the right staff is going to be, obviously of utmost importance if a guy like Beamer takes the job, and him being more in that CEO role, that master recruiter, just be the guy kind of turning the wheels. But again, like we said, he's been under some great head coaches. I mean, you would think certainly he's taken little bits and pieces from all those guys, and could make it work. So, but we'll see, man. It's going to be, like I said, it's going to be very interesting. I think we're going to get a decision, at worst, probably first week of December. So I think over the next few weeks, you're going to see this thing kind of evolve, man. So.
Oh yeah, can't wait. I mean, all the positive thing about all this, all Carolina fans can look at is every candidate to me is a great candidate. Billy Napier, you got Hugh Freeze, if possible. You got Jamie Chadwell, you got Shane Beamer, Luke Fickell. You know what I'm saying? Like all these guys, I think will be good coaches. You know what I mean? All these guys are better than Muschamp. I'm gonna put that out there.
Yeah, and I'm gonna take it off the call, man. I appreciate you calling in, but and calling back to the podcast anytime. Obviously, I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, no. So I mean, that's been my biggest point though for a while. Is that, I mean, the crazy part is I don't know if there's a candidate out there we could hire where I'd feel like we downgraded. You know what I mean? It's just, I mean, for whatever it's worth. So yeah. By the way, wanted to show the sign. Great stuff. Wheels on the bus go round and round. Harris for Heisman. Really good stuff, dude. I hope Harris gets it 40 times on Saturday. Really, really good stuff. So, again, yeah, appreciate the calls, guys. Taking your questions, comments, calls. Phone lines are open, 843-790-3377. I know I've missed some questions. Let's go back here. Let's see. Let's see. Forrest knows, regarding development, do you think we just didn't recruit to our schemes with Muschamp? I don't think that's the case. I just think the players simply were not developed. It's hard for me to say because I'm not in the building. I'm not at practices. I don't see what's going on, but it just doesn't make any sense to get the talent that you got on campus and not see it develop any better than it did. So, it's tough to say, man. But again, when you're getting guys, why is it at South Carolina you were getting all these 4-star and 5-star guys? And that's why I really didn't even get excited for recruiting anymore, because Will Muschamp was getting these guys on campus and they just disappear. These guys that you were excited about on the recruiting trail. I mean, I think of Jamias Williams. I think of Rosendo Lewis was a guy that was an Under Armour All-American. Has he played a snap at South Carolina in 3 years? It's just crazy. So, let's see. Brian Welch, unlike last time, Tanner has the pick of the litter. He screws up, he's gone. There's no excuse. I agree. Yeah, that's the great thing, honestly, about South Carolina making this move in the midst of a pandemic, is I think they have access to candidates they maybe normally wouldn't have access to. So, you got to get this hire right, though. I agree with you. It's a big-time hire. Timothy King, how would you describe the culture with Will Muschamp? Again, I'm not in the building. I'm not behind closed doors. My biggest thing I would just say is this. From what we've seen this week on social media, and I get players being upset their head coach got fired, but I just think from some of the comments we've seen, stuff we've seen from my point of view during the Muschamp era, I think there were some cracks in the armor. And I'm just going to say I don't think it was as perfect as maybe people thought it was. That's all I'm going to say. So, Brian Welch, it's hard to recruit to a scheme when you keep having to fire bad OC hires. I agree with you 100%. Let's see. Cody Gaskins, they're saying Charlie Strong is DC. What's your thoughts on that? I think that'd be very interesting. I mean, listen, because I saw something this morning. It was like the rumor was Beamer gets the job. Not Gus Malzahn. Charlie Strong is DC and G.A. Mangus is offensive coordinator. That sounds all fine. Let's not get caught up, though, and everybody we bring in has to be a former Gamecock. I mean, it sounds fun. Are they the best hires, though? Yo, RJ, what's up, man?
Hey, Chris, what's going on, man?
Not much. How are you?
You know what, man? I'm doing good. I gotta say, money well spent, man. Yeah, nothing personal, but it feels good that, South Carolina can now turn the page to a new chapter. Muschamp's out, so we can get this thing going. Go out and find that next guy. Speaking of which, first thing that I want to talk about, now me personally, my favorite right now would be Napier, but I do like Beamer too. I think there's a lot of positives there with him, especially with being that he's been there before, he knows what it's like. But like everybody's saying, I think the biggest thing is Napier, even though it hasn't been for too long, but he does have that head coach experience, but Beamer doesn't yet. So I mean, that's kind of the thing that makes you maybe worry a little bit, but and another reason I really like Napier is just because of just the way that he talks and stuff, just his attitude. I think he would make a real good coach. Like I think both of them would, but he'd definitely be my favorite right now. And I just don't know if anybody watched his speech that he did when he became the coach at Louisiana. And I just like some of the things that he said. Like, and of course, I mean, you got to walk the walk as well, which apparently he's doing. But it's just stuff like, hey, we're going to be winners. We're going to, you don't know what you're going to see out of us, from week to week. We're going to be the team that, other teams hate to prepare for. I mean, I think he's got just that right attitude. I think he'd bring a good culture to this team, to this program. It's what we've been missing, since Spurrier and all those other players used to be here. So, but yeah, I think with any of them, though, I think we'll be in a good spot. But
yeah, no, and again, it's here's the thing: it's going to be a risk either way. Napier obviously has the head coaching experience, but he's never been at a big time program. Like I said, I'm warming up to the thought of Beamer because I love the culture fit aspect. I love the thought of a guy getting the job where in his introductory press conference, he's saying, it was my dream to be here. This is my dream job. This is where I want to be. And a guy that understands the culture, the fan base. And again, Beamer's a guy that's seen South Carolina at its absolute best. He recruited some of the best players in school history. I mean, I was looking at his bio a little bit just a second ago. 2007, hired by Steve Spurrier, coached outside linebackers and special teams. In 2008, defense was second in pass defense, 13th in defense nationally, which I forgot the defense was that good in 2008, to be honest. Final 2 years, he was the recruiting coordinator. 2009, the class was ranked 12th, and he recruited Stephon Gilmore and Alshon Jeffrey. And then both in the 10 and 11 classes were in the top 25 and had Marcus Lattimore and Connor Shaw amongst others. So, I mean, the guy recruited some of the best players to ever play, to ever step foot and wear the garnet and black. So, I mean, he knows how to recruit. There's nothing else. There's no denying that. I love the culture fit. A guy that, again, can come in and say that truly, he's a guy that believes South Carolina can win big. I mean, he saw it happen himself. He helped make it happen. So, I think from the culture fit, again, if you hire Beamer, though, the most important thing, you got to get the right OC in DC, and let Beamer sort of more so serve in that CEO type of role, and let him recruit, obviously, and be the face of the program. Let him be the talking, because that's basically what Dabo does. I mean, I don't know that Dabo does a whole lot of coaching. You know what I mean? And I think that was Muschamp's biggest problem. I think he's probably more knowledgeable as far as X's and O's than a lot of other coaches, but he just didn't know how to be a head coach. You know what I mean? It's a different role. It's not the same thing. So,
I agree.
I'm not going to be upset either way at Napier or Beamer. Even if we got Freeze, I really wouldn't be upset. There's pros and cons to every single hire, but if I said it once, I've said it a million times. This is the perfect time to roll the dice, in my opinion. Why not? Take a chance. Heck, man, Muschamp is beaten and battered and bruised this fan base so badly that if you just make game days fun again, we're going to love you. So, I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but yeah.
I know exactly how you feel. I mean, it's been like, that's been my kind of the way I've been looking at it, especially the past couple of years, like, man, where did all of this go wrong,
Yeah, no, for sure, man.
Yeah, like I said, I think we'll be good with, either one. So,
yeah. Yeah, and I think it'll be interesting, man. It'll be interesting to see how this evolves, because, like I said, it feels like every day there's a new rumor, there's a new name, whatever. So we'll see. But appreciate the call, man.
Okay, thank you, man.
Thanks, man. All right, we're gonna jump back to the phone lines.
Thomas Walker.
Maybe one day I'll have like a real thing here. Yo, what's up, man? How you doing?
What's up, Chris?
Not much, man. Not much. Appreciate you calling in.
No problem. I'm gonna switch up the conversation a little bit here.
Yeah.
Talk about quarterbacks. Give me 3 good reasons that Colin Hill is still starting at quarterback. I understand Muschamp was trying to keep his job, trying to win games, and he thought that was going to give him the best way to win. But the man is boring to watch. Okay.
Oh yeah.
He had almost a near perfect game against Ole Miss, and it was boring. Kevin Harris was the only exciting part of the offense, and a couple catches from Ty Smith. But the way I see it, Hilinski should be starting, and put Doty in when we get in the red zone. Let him. I mean, he should be getting 8 to 10 snaps per game, not 2 snaps per game. And Hilinski should be the starter. We have to, at some point, you have to start looking towards the future.
Yeah.
I understand that Muschamp was trying to keep his job, but I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I think I could probably give you.
Quarterbacks were exciting to watch.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say I think I could probably give you 3 reasons that Colin Hill's starting. I don't think they'd be 3 good reasons, but I mean, because I don't think the fact that Mike Bobo is now the interim head coach is a good reason, but I think it's probably a reason. I mean, listen, I agree with you. I agree with you just because realistically, Bobo ain't going to be here. Colin Hill ain't going to be here next year because if Bobo's not here, Hill will not be here. So I'd like to see Luke Doty start the game. As crazy as that sounds. I mean, I get why Hill is starting to an extent. Again, with Bobo still being the interim head coach, and I hate that because I'd love to just see in these last 3 games Carolina just go wild and just go balls to the wall and just empty the playbook. Who cares? You know what I mean? Who cares if you lose these last 3? What does it really matter? You know what I mean? Unfortunately, that's not how Mike Bobo is thinking, because this is almost like a job audition for him. So I guess if he feels that Hill is the best guy, then he's going to roll him out there. And that's kind of what he said in the Tuesday presser about, we're going to play the best players and la-di-da, whatever. But trust me, I understand the clamoring for a different quarterback. I totally 110% get it, and I understand why, because I feel the same way. I've been a guy that has, and that was my biggest thing too. People are saying, I see some people clamoring to keep Mike Bobo with the next staff. And my biggest thing is this is coming from somebody that I haven't been nearly as hard on Colin Hill as some other people have. I think Hill has been the steady hand, and he's been the field general for South Carolina, whatever. It is a boring brand of football. There's no question. And I do agree with you now that because the season's a loss, the head coach is fired. Who gives a damn? Play the other guys. But I would say this, even as someone who has supported Colin Hill and not been nearly as rough on him as others, the fact anybody would want to keep Mike Bobo on staff, a guy who's too stubborn to try anyone else at QB, is beyond me. No thanks. I have no interest in, and it's nothing against Mike. The offense has been better this year, but I have no interest in that whatsoever. So, yeah, dude, I'd love to see a lot of Luke Doty. Even Ryan for sure, yeah, but, man, you want to make it really exciting. I'd love to spread it back out, get Luke out there, run a read option with Kevin and Luke Doty, and, yeah, mix them all in. If nothing else, play them all. Who cares, at this point? But I don't know, man. Mike Bobo's the one pulling the strings, so what can we really do? There's nothing really you can say, so.
I was just thinking, back to the beginning of the season when Colin Hill got his first couple starts, I was like, man, this guy really looks like a fifth-year senior. He's calm and collected. I like the way he's playing. And then the more he played, I was like, man, this guy's boring. Yeah. I would rather watch Ryan Hilinski lose a football game than Colin Hill lose a football game. Ryan Hilinski was the first one leading the team out of the tunnel. Yeah. I don't even know where Colin Hill is. He barely celebrates with the players on touchdowns. I've seen him go up to Kevin Harris a couple times. He's just not an exciting guy to watch. So that was my point, and I'll hang up now and listen to the rest of the show.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. Thanks so much for the call. Yeah, no, so listen, I hear you guys. I understand. It's Mike Bobo's show at this point, though, and damn, if Colin Hill wasn't going to get pulled with Muschamp at the helm, there ain't no damn way Colin Hill's about to get pulled with Mike Bobo at the helm. So I can't explain it. I don't know. Again, Mike Bobo will not be here after the season's over. So I guess we have nothing to worry about, but yeah. So, but yeah, dude, I'd love to see Hilinski. I'd love to see Doty again. I'm kind of the thought process. Hey, balls to the wall. Who cares? The season's over. It's a loss. You know what I mean? Why not have some fun, get creative, empty the playbook, leave it all on the field, man. Who gives a damn? So going back to the phone lines here. Yo, Phil, what's up, man?
How you doing, brother?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. Feeling hopeful.
Yeah, for the first time in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
So my thought is, Chadwell's not getting any traction in these rumors. Some people, commented in the chat saying he's happy in Conway there, little Conway. So, if his dream job is not Carolina, I wonder what is. But if he's not, doesn't want the pay raise and doesn't want the prestige of going to an SEC school, hey, man, have fun down there.
Right. Yeah. Now, I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what his deal is or what the interest level or, whatever. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know.
I want to make a comment about the Missouri game real quick.
Yeah.
Does it really matter at this point with the season? It's not like if we lose out, it's not like we're getting the first pick of the draft here. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
this isn't the NFL, so we might as well go for it. Try things that haven't been done this year. Try stuff that you haven't thought of, or throw stuff out there that you haven't been doing. Let's mix it up a little bit. I don't think the coaching staff is going to do that by any means, but why the hell wouldn't they?
I'll tell you this. If it's 4th and 6 or less, on the plus side of the field, I would go for it every time. I would just never punt, basically. Or basically, if we're past our own 40, probably, I just go for it every time. I'm not punting once. I'm not kicking field goals. Like, who gives a damn? Like, no disrespect to Parker White, but like, dude, no. Hell no. Like, who gives a shit, like you're saying? So I don't like, and it's unfortunate because I agree with you. I doubt we see that, although I think that is a huge storyline going in this game is what does a Mike Bobo game plan look like versus a Will Muschamp game plan? Does it look any different whatsoever? Because it might, I mean, you would like to think it'd look a little different. I mean, Mike Bobo and, they're not the same person, so I'd have to think it'll look a little different, but, how much different? I don't know. It's tough. I don't think offensively we're going to look that much different at all. So that's what sucks.
Yeah, it's just boring to watch. It's like watching grass grow at times. Yeah. I'm ready to see the whole thing spread out. Let's be throwing all over the field. Let's get some wide receivers in at running backs like the Carolina Panthers have done. I've seen the past couple of weeks. I want to see some excitement out there. I want to see something worth watching.
Yeah, no, and again, I feel the same way, dude. I just, if nothing else, and that's the biggest thing to knock on the Muschamp era. And if you're going to lose, at least make it exciting. That's what I told people after the Ole Miss game. Hey, Ole Miss isn't a world beater, but they're fun to watch. I mean, they're really, really, they're going for it on 4th and 11s. I mean, Lane Kiffin don't give a damn. Like, it's it was just, you saw it on the field, obviously Saturday, just two completely different styles of coaching. So, make it fun to watch. I don't know. This is just going to be such a weird season if we look back, and which we probably will, and just be like, bro, Luke Doty nor Helinski even saw the field. I mean, it's weird. It's very weird.
So if it comes down to Napier and Beamer, I can never get in the back of my mind. I'm always going to be thinking Tater, Billy Napier. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is.
So you're Beamer or bust. You're Beamer or bust in that scenario.
Well, I mean, Chadwell is still in my mind as well. But if he doesn't want to come,
right?
Hey, man, Shane, you've been here before. You've cut your teeth with this program. You've been here when it's been successful. You've been a huge part of our recruiting back in the day when we got Stephon Gilmore and Alshon Jeffrey. Come on back, man. Yeah. Let's make this thing happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, that's why I keep warming up to Beamer is the culture fit. Because, I mean, I do agree with you. I mean, listen, I'd be willing to look past it. It is what it is. He was at Clemson, but it would be nice, you know what I mean, to have a guy that was at South Carolina versus was at Clemson. I mean, there's no other way. I just know none of us want to hear it from Clemson fans because if Napier's hired, that's what's going to happen. So,
all you've got to do is type in Billy Napier's name in Google and go to the images about 2 rows down. Yeah. You're going to see him in orange and purple, and it's disgusting. Man.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to look past that. Like I said, man, that's the crazy thing about this coaching search, though, is because 1 minute it's Hugh Freeze, the next it's Napier, the next it's Beamer, the next it's wild. So I think, like I said, these next 2 weeks, 3 weeks or so are going to be very interesting. So. We'll see what happens.
And follow the money, okay? If the boosters and the board of trustees love Beamer, then we're going to see a lot more of Beamer in our headlines here coming up.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think it was the State put out an article today about 5 things to know about potential head coach Shane Beamer or whatever. So and again, like I said, I've heard from people that I talk to that. Obviously the former players love him, the former staff love him, and he got that vote of confidence from Steve Spurrier. So I'm hearing there's some momentum behind the scenes for Beamer. So, I mean, we'll see. Dude, like I said, I'm at the point, man, where I'm so beaten, battered, and bruised from Will Muschamp, I'm willing to roll the dice. And, I really don't think there's a hire out there that I'd look at and be like, that's a worse hire than Muschamp was. You know what I mean? Like, at least with Beamer, if he gets here and it doesn't work out, we didn't take a chance on a guy we already knew wasn't good. This is just, hey, it could turn out really, really good, really, really bad, or somewhere in the middle. We don't really know. You know what I mean? Hey, it could – the guy – and I hate to compare him to him, but he could be the next Dabo Swinney. The guy could be the next great head coach. I mean, you just don't know. Yeah. So, but it's a huge risk, and I understand why there are Carolina fans that are uncomfortable with that. I get it, but I also think people can get caught up in the whole home run hire slogan. Right. You know what I mean? Like, hey, Hugh Freeze would be a home run hire, but guess what? What if he leaves 3 years in and he goes to Tennessee or Auburn or wherever else? I mean, what good is that going to do us? So, I mean, you know,
You
I
have
don't
to
know.
imagine with all the success that they had here, Beamer's dream job is either VTech, right?
Right.
Or
Or here.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, there's risk in hiring anybody. I don't care.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I would rather have a guy here that's a risky hire that has been here at the program, has cut his teeth here, and loves this university and the football program because they gave him a shot.
Well, and I think that's a really important point that you made. Like somebody who really truly wants to be here, and this wasn't their third or fourth option, or for better example, this isn't. You know, and again, I love that we hired Spurrier and Holtz. Obviously, that's a given. But it would be nice for this to be a job where it's not somebody's last stop, or it's not somebody's not using this just to get into the SEC ranks or what. You know, I think Beamer, like I said, the reason I'm warming up is he's a cultural fit. He's a guy that I think it truly would be his dream job, and he would want to be here. Yep. So I just think that'd be cool. You know, I think there's something to be said for that. You know what I mean? So. But we'll see. We're not behind closed doors. We have no idea. But it'll be a fun next couple of weeks. There's no question. So,
absolutely. Go Cox.
Yeah, go Cox, man. Appreciate you, Phil. Bye. Yeah, good stuff. Very, very good stuff. Really, really good stuff. Again, taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. Phone lines ringing off the hook today. Reminder, episode 321 dropped this morning, breaking down the Mizzou game. Also had Aldrick Fordham. If you don't remember that name, you should. He played for South Carolina 09-12, was a key piece of the Gamecocks defensive line in 2012. He had like 5.5 sacks, 6.5 tackles for loss. Really, really good player for South Carolina. Played on the best defenses in school history. So really, really awesome stuff. Check it out. That pod dropped this morning. Awesome stuff. Let's jump back to the phone lines.
Mark.
Yo, Mark, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, Chris?
Hey, not much.
So I was just thinking, because I know a lot of people just want to keep Connor Shaw in the program, but I was thinking, because I just remember last year, in the past few years, when our strength and conditioning was very bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like our strength and conditioning coach that we got, he's been doing a phenomenal job.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to keep him and Connor. I'm not sure how that would work out.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be up to the next head coach. I mean, and I'll just tell you realistically, I think the next guy will probably bring in his own strength staff. I mean, maybe he won't, but probably will. I mean, I agree. Paul Jackson's done, a solid job. I mean, the injuries certainly haven't been the lead storyline this year like they had been for, the past like 3 or 4 years. So I agree. Paul Jackson's done a solid job, but I mean, it's really just going to come down to the next head coach. Does he want to, I don't know, man. I'm just kind of with a thought process. The more the days go by since Muschamp was fired Sunday, and you're seeing things on social media and you're kind of seeing the ripple effect from this and the reaction, I just think the culture as a whole maybe wasn't as squeaky clean and as perfect as we all thought it was. So I'll tell you, man, personally, outside of Connor, this might sound harsh. I want him to just wipe the whole thing. Like, I'm talking everybody down to recruiting coordinators, to just bring in a whole new host of people. Because, again, if you want to really turn the page and start a new culture, if you keep holdovers, it's going to be hard to do that. I mean, those people are still going to they've got their personal feelings, right? They got their personal, because a lot of them, I bet, feel like Will Muschamp was wronged and done wrong. I don't want those people in the building. Get them out. No, let's start new, start fresh. That's why you would never keep a guy like Mike Bobo on, because, I mean, he's a Muschamp guy. I don't want any Muschamp people in the building. None. And that might be, again, outside of Connor Shaw, everybody else can go. And again, that might sound harsh, but I mean, dude, this might sound harsh too, but like, I'd almost like to just forget the Muschamp era even happened personally. A lot of it. I'd like to completely start fresh, break off, start anew, and let's just completely start with a blank slate. Again, maybe that's tough to hear for people, or harsh to say, but that's just genuinely how I feel about it at this point. I mean, start fresh, start anew. I mean, if you really do want to keep Paul Jackson, I mean, it's not going to kill me. I'm not going to say, oh my God, that's a terrible thing, but I don't know. It's going to be up to the new coach, but I'm just a believer that, man, like, bring in a new culture, start fresh, and kind of get this thing rolling. So, but yeah, the next head coach has got to keep Connor Shaw involved in some capacity. I mean, even if he's not going to be quarterbacks coach, keeping him at South Carolina in some sort of admin role or kind of what he was doing before, whatever. But Connor obviously needs to stay. I wouldn't even hire the next head coach if he's not going to keep Connor Shaw. So,
yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Chris.
Yeah, man. Appreciate the call. I don't know. Is that harsh? Is that harsh for me to say that I want to completely just wipe the slate clean and get rid of all of Will Muschamp's people? I mean, I'm not wishing on people to lose their jobs in a sense, but it's just like, if you truly want to start anew and change the culture, I think that's what you have to do. I mean, bottom line, I don't want any of Muschamp's people in the building. None. Zero. None. Absolutely none. So, let's see. Ryan Clark says, no risk, no reward. I agree, my friend. Timothy King, is there a coach out that stands out in terms of keeping and gaining high-level recruits? I mean, Beamer's an elite recruiter. There's no question he stands out. I think Napier's done a good job developing talent at Louisiana. Obviously done a decent job recruiting, coaching those guys up. Hugh Freeze certainly stands out, what he did at Ole Miss. So there are definitely guys out there, and you shouldn't hire a guy if he's not an elite recruiter. So. Hey, yo, Ben, what's up, man?
Hey, a whole lot, man. Got a question for you. I supported Muschamp as long as I could. I think it definitely was time for change. And I agree with what you're saying. With the university needs a coach that's gonna want to be there as far as a dream job and everything else, But my question is, one of the biggest issues I have with Muschamp is the team never really looked like it's fired up to play.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand in that case why they wouldn't have kept Sean Elliott over a Muschamp, because even though we lost a lot with Elliott as an interim, we did almost beat Clemson, and the team did seem very fired up every week. And he was alumni. And I was kind of curious what your thoughts were on that.
As far as hiring Sean Elliott back, or just in the sense of why the team wasn't fired up? Sorry, I think cut out.
Why the team was so unmotivated.
Dude, it's so tough to say. Because I know we look at it, and I look at it as far as, man, if you can't get fired up to play in an SEC football game, you don't have a pulse. You know what I mean? You shouldn't need and I think you heard Connor Shaw say that, bro. You shouldn't need a coach to do that for you. You shouldn't. At some point, I will say, as much as I give Muschamp hell, it does fall on the players a bit. Like, bro, if you're not fired up to play in a football game, that's on you. Like, and again, but it does come back to coaching as far as their leader. I don't think Will Muschamp was as good of a leader as some maybe thought he was. And I've heard that from people behind the scenes too. Hey, former players that played at South Carolina have told me that. They don't think he was a great leader. That was a problem. Yeah, I mean, it's tough to say, man. It's weird when your team consistently falls flat on their face in big-time moments in big-time games. And that was certainly a character trait of Will Muschamp coach football teams. Again, I don't know how you can come out in a game and not be fired up. And I think I would say this. I don't even know if I'd say the teams weren't fired up, is more so they weren't ready to play schematically. Like, I just don't think they were ready to play. I don't think they were coached up to the levels of being ready to play and go win a football game of the type of magnitude we're talking about. We're not talking about games against Vanderbilt. We're not talking about games against Coastal Carolina or East Carolina. We're talking about these big SEC games. It's like, how do you come into a game against LSU and just look so pathetic? You know what I mean? And I don't know if it's that the team wasn't fired up to – I tell you this, and I said this on the podcast, and I'll say it again, and I don't know how many people heard it, but from everything I've seen, and it addresses why I think the team wasn't quote-unquote fired up. I think it was more so this. We had a team under Will Muschamp, because you'd think Muschamp, defensive guy, hard-nosed, like intensity, that's what you thought of, right? I'll be honest, from my point of view, when I look back on the Muschamp era, I think of a team that was fragile. I think of a team that was really soft, and when it got punched in the mouth, it folded like a cheap tent. I mean, really. And again, I know there were times we showed resiliency and battled, but you're talking about why did the team look so down and lack intensity? And, bro, it just seemed a lot, like LSU. I was there in person. LSU went down the field and scored that touchdown. That game was over. That game was over. As far as just the intensity and the enthusiasm and wanting to be out there. And, I've heard different guys talk about this. I'm not the only one. I know people on Eric Kimry's show talked about it. I think it was Corey Jenkins talked about it. You know what I mean? It's just, you get South Carolina down, they'll quit. And I hate to say that. It's harsh to say, but I think that's what it goes back to, what you're talking about. Why did we not look fired up to play? I think probably in the beginning we were, but I don't think we were the best at handling adversity. I guess that's the best and nicest way I can put it. I just don't think we flourished when times got tough. I don't think it was a culture and a team that flourished. That's just my opinion. So,
yeah, it blew my mind. I remember when Elliott came as interim, we only won one game against the Vanderbilt, but even all the games we lost against Florida,
and going
and all of them, Carolina was in it.
And going back to that point too, that's my biggest question mark going into this game against Missouri and really for the rest of the season, because a lot of times when teams fire their head coach or their head coach resigns or whatever, you see a group of guys rally together. They play for each other. They play for the interim head coach. They play for their university. They play for the name on the front of the jersey, not the back. Do we have that type of culture instilled? Do we have that type of leadership, by the way? I was talking to my buddy about that last night, and I think that I almost feel like silly that I haven't brought that up this season, is that who are the leaders on our team? I mean, really? Who are the leaders? Colin Hill, he hadn't been here a year. You know what I mean? Like, when times get tough, who does our football team look to is just say, all right, let's get it locked in. Let's get it refocused. Let's get after it. Who are the guys we look at that say that? And you look at that 15 team, as bad as that team was, we did have those guys. You know what I mean? So that to me is the biggest question for the rest of this season. And I think it's going to tell you a lot. I really do. I think it'll tell you a lot about the culture and the type of people and players we have within the program right now. Does this team rally around each other and rally together and fight for one another and fight for the University of South Carolina? Or do they just pack it in, say screw it, and they blame others and they point the finger? And, because I'm sure there's a lot of guys in that locker room, man. I hate to say it too. I bet there's a lot of guys in that locker room. They're like, I was about to drop the F-bomb, but like, screw the University of South Carolina. They shouldn't have fired Will Muschamp. And that's just a bad attitude. I mean, it's just, what type of attitude do we have? You know what I mean? So what type of character do we have? So, it starts at the very, very top, man. And like I said, there's a reason that guy's gone. So that's the best way to put it. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man. I appreciate the call, brother. Thanks so much. Dang it. I missed somebody's call like 100 times. If you want to call back in, that's my bad. We taking as many calls as I can get to. RJ says that definitely used to be swearing during his time. Dude hyped everybody up. And yeah, like I said, I can't believe I haven't mentioned that before now. You know what I mean? I can't believe the leadership on this team. Who are the leaders? Who do you look at and say that guy's a leader? Because I think we all expected it to be Ryan Hilinski, but he's not the starter. It's hard to be the leader on the football team when you're not the starting quarterback. So, hey, Eric, what's going on, man?
Hey, brother. So you talk about cleaning house.
All right.
I remember Bill Parcells got hired, and he said, "You hire me to come in here and bake a cake, then you don't let me pick out my ingredients."
Right.
What kind of crap is that?
Right. Yeah.
So,
well,
if
go ahead.
If you're going to make that hire, let him put together what he wants to put together to bake you a winning cake, man.
Yeah.
Give him the chance.
I think they will. I mean, I think they will. I mean, we're everything everybody's talking about on social media and here is just hypotheticals about Bobo and this other stuff. The head coach is going to make the decisions. I don't see any scenario where, they're going to try to tell him what to do. I wouldn't even, if I was a potential candidate and I would tell them I'm not even going to take the job if that's the case. So I think the head coach will. I think he'll make those decisions. And, like I said, if I had to guess, listen, I don't know about all the people that work behind the scenes, what they're going to do, the training staff, and is it going to go to that extent? But, yeah, Paul Jackson will be gone. I think that Mike Bobo will be gone. And I think the only two assistants I would say keep is definitely Connor Shaw and Rod Wilson because he's a Gamecock. I like the fact he's a former Gamecock. So, you want to keep them on, fine. But, and again, because people will say, oh, what about Des Kitchings? What about Tracy Rocker? I'm sorry, but if you're a Muschamp guy, I'm out on you. I just am. I'm out on you completely. And again, that's the next head coach will make that decision. Hey, if it's Shane Beamer or Napier and they say, hey, you know what? I like this guy. I'm going to keep him. I'll support them 100%. If they evaluate the guy and they want to keep him, that's all fine and dandy. But I'm just telling you, if it was me, like you said, we're baking a cake and we're going to start from scratch. I don't need any bad ingredients. So, I don't need spoiled eggs. You know what I mean? Like, there's no point in that. So that's just me. I'd start fresh and start anew, but so.
Well, I will tell you this. I mean, the strength and conditioning guy, it's night and day from what we've had to put up with for the last 3 years. And man, I would have to at least let the guy interview for it. And, in that year, he may have been a Muschamp hire, but he's got relationships with those kids that were always getting hurt, and now they're not getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's got a lot of inside tribal knowledge that you might want to hold on to.
Yeah, he's done a good job. Like I said, Paul Jackson's done a good job. There's no question. I mean, it's like I said, injuries hasn't been the lead storyline, if nothing else, for this season. So, like I said, if the new head coach wants to keep him, I'm not going to complain about it. It is what it is. I'm just saying what I would do. But if I had to guess, I would probably think that new head coach is going to have a guy in mind he's bringing with him. You know what I mean? I think that, hey, we had a good strength and conditioning coach when Muschamp resigned. Muschamp brought his own, or when Spurrier resigned, but Muschamp brought his own guy. He brought Dillman with him. So that's I think that's sort of a thing these guys do. So, I mean, I could be wrong, but we'll see. Again, if he wants to keep him, whatever. And I'm just, like I said, I'm voicing what I would do. And maybe it's just, I'm so, like I said, the scar tissue from the fresh wound, I should say, from the Muschamp tenure. I'm just so ready to, I just completely forget it happened and let's move on. I mean, really. So, yeah.
I have to agree with you. Hopefully. Well, I'll tell you what. We will see Saturday night.
Yeah, we indeed will. It's going to be very I'm probably as curious and as intrigued coming into a South Carolina football game as I've been in a long time. I'll tell you that. So, we'll see. We'll see. It'll be very, very interesting to say the least. So, at least we won't have to post hashtag fire Muschamp after the game if we lose. So, that's a positive.
Boy, ain't that the truth? Hey, do me one small favor before I hang up.
Mm-hmm.
Check your messenger so I can get those tickets to you.
Okay, I got you. Sounds good, man. Hey, I appreciate you calling in. I'll follow up with you here shortly.
All right, buddy.
So, all right, boss. Thanks. Good stuff. Let's see. Taking questions, comments, 843-790-3377, guys. 843-790-3377. Let's see here. Savannah Webster, we have some of the lowest paid assistants need to open up the checkbook. Head coach needs help. He can't do it. Yeah, especially if it's Beamer. Like I said, no matter who it is, really, you got to make sure you hire a really, really good offensive coordinator and a really, really good defensive coordinator. You got to get those two coordinator hires right. So, let's see. Andrew Bowers, I saw you saying keep Des Kitchings. He had 2,000-yard rushers in NC State. He's about to have 1,000-yard rusher here in his first year with us, no doubt. Hey, like I said, if the new head coach wants to keep him, that's totally fine. Whatever. I'm game with it. I'm just saying what I would do. I'm just so ready to be done with the entire Muschamp era. I'm good on it. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Yep. Again, guys, taking your questions, comments, calls. We've only got about 7 minutes left. I appreciate it. It's been a great show today. A lot of good calls, a lot of good questions. Let's see. Eight 843-790-3377, guys. 843-790-3377. John Gibbs. Don't think head coaches should bring friends or paid assistants or past assistants unless they have proven and produced. Pick the right guys, no friends or politics. I agree with you 100%. 110%. Savannah Webster, with as good as Oklahoma's offense has been, why isn't Shane getting more recognition nationally? I watched tons of games and his name never gets mentioned. I didn't even know he was at Oklahoma. Just a behind-the-scenes guy. They don't get a lot of love. So, Tyler Manley, Billy Napier is a Clemson reject. Hashtag hire Hugh Freeze. Yeah, I get it. I listen, there's pros and cons with every hire out there. That's kind of the interesting thing with this. I don't think there's a no-brainer guy available. So, Let's see. Somebody said, who's Muschamp? Yeah, never heard of her. Rodney Creel, when you break up with someone, you throw away all their stuff also. You only keep what was yours before they got there. Connor Shaw, dropping knowledge on y'all today. Yeah, hey, trust me, I agree with you. Been there, done that, my guy. Been there, done that. Tyler Knoll, the running game is the best it's been since like 2013. Keep Kitchens. He's been here for a season, and you see the improvement. Like I said, if the new head coach wants to keep him, I'm game. If he doesn't, it's fine with me. Owen Turner, here's a very interesting question. Does Carolina ever buy out of the contract with Under Armour? I would love to see it. I've heard some rumblings that maybe, just maybe, that could happen. Dude, I would love Shane Beamer to bring Jordan with him. Oh, yes. Yes. Speak it into existence. Nike and or Jordan brand. Yes, please. Andrew Bauer, Shane Beamer, head coach. Let him hire Steve Sarkisian from Bama as the OC and get Venables to the DC. That's a dream. That's a dream staff right there. Jim and Crystal Sanders, I'm on the Shane train. Jonathan Boatwright, Tyler, then we can rename Two Notch Hugh Freeze Hooker Highway. Thomas Walker, what is it with Muschamp and ruining quarterback recruits? No, that's why everybody is so funny. He's like, are we going to lose Gunner? Are we going to lose Gunner? You got to keep Muschamp. You got to get Gunner. Who cares? If you get Gunner and have Muschamp, he's going to ruin him anyways. Savannah Webster, can we get Thomas Brown back? Don't forget he recruited Kevin. Yeah, that Brown and Kitchens have been really, really good running back coaches. Been phenomenal. They've done a fantastic job. So let's see. Again, guys, taking your questions, comments, calls. Thank you guys so much for the calls and everything, the interaction. It has been a fantastic show today, seriously. Quick reminder, again, if you have not done so, check out the podcast, episode 321 that dropped this morning, Missouri preview plus Aldrick Fordham interview. Aldrick Fordham, great conversation. Also, quick reminder, watch party this Saturday, Overtime Bar and Grill. Doors open at 11, kickoff at 7:30, guys. If you need a spot to watch the game and you're not going in the game, be sure to check that out. It's going to be really, really fun. So great venue, great people, great food and drinks, awesome stuff. Let's see. RJ, if the HBC believes in Shane Beamer, then so do I. Hopefully God will smile on the Gamecocks. I hear you. Let's see. Brian Wingard, is the Indiana head coach out of the question? I think probably so. I mean, I haven't heard much on it. But again, at this point, it's all fair game. You don't really know. Everybody's fair game at this point. So, John Gibbs also wants somebody who's not afraid to play freshman. Play the best damn player. Again, no friends, family, or politics. Agree 110%. Agree 110%. Yeah, we've had a lot of busts at the quarterback position. Thomas Walker says, Lorenzo Nunez, Brandon McElwain, Dak Joyner, and soon-to-be Ryan Alinsky. Timothy King, score prediction for South Carolina Mizzou. I will drop tomorrow. I said Missouri. I don't know why. South Carolina Mizzou, score prediction tomorrow. Podcast tomorrow. I'll drop it tomorrow. Everything that will come out tomorrow. I really haven't decided. I'll be honest with you. I have not decided. Obviously, I think I'm leaning towards the Mizzou side of things, but I'm not sure for a score yet. I'm really not sure for a score yet. Owen Turner, Connor Shaw as head coach or OC in the future. I mean, you never know. That'd be cool. That'd be really, really cool. I would ask you this, though, on the flip side, just to play devil's advocate. Can you imagine having to fire Connor Shaw? I just would not be good. That's the only downside. That's the only negative to something like that. Let's see, guys. We got about a minute and a half left here. Timothy King, Colin Hill, plus or minus 250 yards passing. I'm going to go minus because I think we're going to continue to just run the football. Yep, I think we're going to continue to run the football. I think we're going to run for a lot on Saturday. So, John Gibbs says, Carolina 35, Mizzou 24. I can see Bobo opening the offensive playbook up. We'll see. Steven says, I just don't want another Will Muschamp. Me and you both. Jaden Harris, I think he breaks 1,000 yards against Mizzou. Again, it's very possible. Mizzou is very depleted right now, so it's going to be really, really, really interesting. Yeah. So anyways, guys, we got about 30 seconds here left. Going to wrap it up, guys. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been a really fun one. Yeah. Savannah Webster says Kevin only needs 183 to hit 1,000. He might get it. He just might get it. Honestly, he just might get it. So again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Check out the podcast again that dropped this morning, episode 321, full Missouri preview, key matchups, keys to the game, top storylines, all that good stuff. And of course, Aldrick Fordham interview. Really, really awesome stuff, guys. We'll do it again tomorrow, 12 to 1. Talk to you then. Thanks so much.